In the massive hall of the Galactic Council, bright lights shone on 1,000 alien representatives from across the stars. Earth's small team stood in the center, feeling very small. Ambassador Jaiwo Park kept her face calm, though her heart beat fast. After 200 years of peaceful relations, she never expected today's events. The council leader, a tall blue-skinned being, pointed at the humans with 3 of his 7 fingers. Earth has hidden resources from the galaxy. Earth has kept technology secret. This breaks our most important laws. Jaiwu stepped forward. These claims are false. Earth has always shared fairly with. Silence. The council leader's voice boomed through the hall. The Draconid Imperium has provided proof of your betrayal. On the giant screen above, images appeared showing what looked like hidden human bases and secret weapons. Jaiwo knew they were fake or twisted to look suspicious, but the damage was done. The alien representatives buzzed and clicked in their various languages, all sounding angry. The vote was quick and harsh. Earth would lose its council seat, face heavy trade restrictions, and have military observers placed on all human worlds. But the Draconids had planned one final blow. To mark Earth's shame, we will now remove their flag from the Hall of Worlds, announced the council leader. 2 guards marched to where Earth's blue and green flag hung among 1,000 others. They tore it down roughly, brought it to the center of the hall, and set it on fire. The fabric burned slowly as aliens watched, many seeming pleased at the humans' humiliation. Jaiwu fought back tears. This was not just politics, this was designed to break human spirit. Beside her, military attaché Miho Kang's hand moved slightly toward his weapon before he caught himself. Their eyes met briefly. They both knew this moment would change everything. The journey back to Earth took 3 days. No one spoke much on the ship. When they landed in New Seoul, they found crowds waiting. News had traveled fast. Some people cried. Others looked angry. President Hanul Choi met them at the spaceport with a grim face. Come. The emergency council is waiting. In the underground war room, military leaders, scientists, and government officials sat around a large table. Admiral Dae-hoon Kim, who had fought in the Centauri conflict decades ago, studied maps of the galaxy on the wall screen. Madam President, Jaiwo said, we must appeal this decision. Perhaps some council members will reconsider if. No, interrupted Admiral Kim. His old face looked hard as stone. The Draconids planned this. They've wanted Earth's territories for years. This was never about justice. The president nodded slowly. What are our options? If we accept these terms, we'll be stripped of resources and defenses within 5 years, said Defense Minister Gina Ryu. The Draconids will take our outer colonies first, then push toward Earth. We could fight, Admiral Kim said quietly. Everyone looked at him. Not openly. Not yet. But we have preparations they don't know about. The room grew silent. For 2 centuries, humanity had built peace across the stars. They had joined the council with hope and worked hard to be good members of the galactic community. Now the dream was ashes, like their burned flag. President Choi walked to the window overlooking the city. Millions of people lived their lives below, not yet understanding how everything had changed. How long have we prepared for something like this, she asked. Since we first met aliens, Admiral Kim answered. We always hoped for peace but planned for betrayal. Operation Long Memory can be activated within hours. The president turned back to the group. Her eyes were sad but determined. We will appear to accept their terms. We will act humble. We will seem broken. She paused. And we will prepare for war. That night, as news spread across Earth and its colonies, something awakened in humans everywhere. Old fighting instincts that had been sleeping for generations stirred again. In homes and bars, in schools and factories, ordinary people began speaking of resistance. On remote asteroid bases, engineers unpacked hidden equipment. In underground labs, scientists activated programs that had been waiting for this day. And in a small apartment in New Seoul, Ambassador Jaiwoo Park stared at a piece of burned fabric, a corner of Earth's flag she had rescued from the council floor, and made a promise to herself. The galaxy had just made a terrible mistake. Admiral Daehoon Kim walked through the hidden shipyard inside Ceres, the largest asteroid in the belt between Mars and Jupiter. Above him, workers welded metal on what would become Earth's most powerful warship. The noise was deafening. 6 months had passed since the Council's insult, and humans had been busy. "How soon can the Vengeance be ready?" he asked Chief Engineer Juno Lee. 3 weeks, Juno replied, wiping sweat from his forehead. "We're installing the phase shift engines now. The Council thinks this technology is impossible, but we've had it working for 15 years. Daehoon nodded. Earth had always kept its best discoveries hidden. While sharing many advances with the galaxy, humans had secretly developed weapons and defenses no alien knew about. Now those secrets would save humanity. Good. The Council inspector arrives at Mars tomorrow. We need to finish before they start looking too closely at the asteroid belt. Elsewhere in the solar system, similar work continued in secret. On Earth's moon, inside deep tunnels dug centuries ago, Dr. Mina Yoon calibrated the quantum communication network. This system would let human ships talk instantly across the galaxy, bypassing the Council's monitored channels. "Test signal to Proxima Base," she said to her assistant. "Sending now," he replied, pressing buttons on a panel. 3 seconds later, the screen lit up with a response from a human base 4 light-years away. In normal space, the message would take years to reach there. With Earth's secret technology, it was instant. "Perfect," Mina said with a small smile. "They'll never see us coming." Above Earth, Council ships patrolled, watching for any sign of military buildup. The blueskin aliens who controlled these ships felt confident. Humans seemed broken and obedient, accepting their punishment without complaint. Captain Sungo Park, commanding a small Earth defense vessel, approached one such patrol ship. His job was to appear weak and cooperative. "Council patrol ship dominance, this is Earth vessel Guardian requesting permission to change orbit," he said, following the new rules that required humans to ask permission for even small movements. "Permission granted, human," came the board reply. "Maintain your new course for exactly 1 rotation." "Thank you, Dominance." "We comply with gratitude," Sungo said, forcing the words past gritted teeth. Later, in his cabin, Sungo opened a hidden compartment in his desk and activated a special device. It scanned the Council ship, recording its shield frequencies and weapon systems. This information went directly to Admiral Kim's war planners. Every day, humans gathered more data about their future enemies. In cities across Earth, ordinary people joined the silent preparation. In her apartment in New Seoul, retired soldier Jeo Han taught fighting techniques to neighbors in what looked like a fitness class. In truth, she was creating a civilian defense force. "Remember," she told the 20 people in her living room, "when the time comes, you'll need to protect your district. The aliens may target civilian areas first." Her oldest student, a 70-year-old man named Do-hyun, asked, "When will we know it's time?" "You'll receive a message saying long memory activated. Then you'll know." Thousands of such groups existed on Earth and its colonies, waiting for the signal. At the president's mansion, President Hanul Choi met with Ambassador Jaiwoo Park and Admiral Kim in a room regularly swept for listening devices. "The Draconids have demanded access to our scientific database," the president said. "We've prepared a version for them that hides our real advances." Jaiwoo nodded. "They suspect nothing so far. Their ambassador even told me Earth might regain partial council status in mere decades if we behave well." Her voice was bitter. "The Ninth Fleet is almost ready," Admiral Kim reported. 27 ships with our most advanced weapons. We've identified 3 key targets for our first strike." "And the Gateway Station?" President Choi asked. "Our special forces have studied its defenses for years. When we move, we'll take it in under 14 minutes." The president looked at the star map on her wall, showing thousands of worlds across the galaxy. For centuries, humans had been explorers and traders, building friendships with many species. Now they would become something else: warriors. How much longer should we wait? She asked. Admiral Kim considered. 1 more month. By then, we'll have everything in place. As the meeting ended, Jaiwo touched the piece of burned earth flag she always carried now. The council thinks they broke us, she said quietly. They don't understand humans at all. Outside, night fell over New Seoul. The city looked peaceful, with people going about their lives. But behind closed doors, in secret bases, and in hidden shipyards, the machinery of war grew stronger each day. The galaxy would soon learn a painful lesson about humanity: never humiliate someone who has the power to strike back. The day had finally come. Admiral Daehoon Kim stood on the bridge of the Vengeance, Earth's newest and most powerful warship. Around him, crew members worked at their stations, faces serious. Today would change everything. All ships report ready, Admiral, said Commander Jisoo-baek, his second-in-command. Daehoon nodded and looked at the large screen showing the positions of Earth's hidden Ninth Fleet, 27 warships that no alien knew existed. For 6 months, they had prepared in secret. Now it was time to strike. Send the signal, he ordered. Long memory activated. Across human space, those 3 words traveled through the quantum network. On colonies, in cities, and aboard ships, people who had waited for this moment began to move. The Draconid flagship Eternal Dominance patrolled near Jupiter. Its commander, a scaled being with 4 eyes, felt no fear. Humans had proven weak and obedient after their humiliation. Sir, we're detecting an unusual energy reading from the asteroid belt, reported a Draconid officer. Before the commander could respond, 3 human ships appeared as if from nowhere. They had been there all along, hidden by technology the Draconids didn't know existed. Impossible, the commander whispered as the first shots hit his ship. The battle lasted just 14 minutes. When it ended, the mighty Eternal Dominance was nothing but floating debris. Similar scenes played out across the solar system as Earth forces eliminated all Council observers. Far away, at Proxima Centauri, the Council's main communication hub linked thousands of worlds. Inside the massive station, aliens of various species monitored galaxy-wide transmissions. Security Chief Eklos, a 6-limbed being, noticed something odd on a sensor. Check Section 12, he ordered a subordinate. Something's. The doors slid open, and humans in black armor entered the control room. They moved with precision, stunning rather than killing the alien workers. This facility is now under Earth control, announced Captain Eunjun Kang, leader of the Human Special Forces team. No one will be harmed if you cooperate. Within 20 minutes, the most important communication hub in the galaxy belonged to humans. Messages to and from the Council would now pass through Earth filters. But the true prize was Gateway Station. This enormous structure controlled travel routes to 17 star systems. Whoever held it controlled movement through a large section of the galaxy. Council General Thraz, a veteran of many conflicts, commanded 500 elite troops on the station. He believed his position was unassailable. General, multiple ships approaching, an officer reported. There, human vessels. Impossible, Thraz said, echoing the Draconid commander's last word. No human ships could reach here without passing our checkpoints. But these ships had traveled through foldspace, another technology humans had kept secret. Admiral Kim's flagship Vengeance led the fleet. Open communication, Daehoon ordered. On Gateway Station, General Thraz saw the human admiral appear on screen. This is Admiral Daehoon Kim of Earth. Gateway Station is now surrounded. Surrender and no one will be harmed. Thraz laughed. With what weapons do you plan to take my station, human? Your ships are too few, and my defense is too strong. Admiral Kim simply nodded. You were not paying attention during the council meeting 6 months ago, General. You should have looked more closely at the humans who served your food and cleaned your rooms. Thraz's eyes widened as he realized what the human meant. Before he could sound an alarm, the lights on Gateway Station flickered. Emergency alarms blared. Throughout the station, service workers, humans who had been regarded as harmless by the Council, pulled hidden weapons from secret compartments. Led by Major Hyojin Ryu, who had posed as a janitor for 3 years, they moved swiftly to secure key points. The battle for Gateway Station lasted just 42 minutes. When it ended, the Council flag was replaced with Earth's, the same design that had been burned 6 months earlier. On the Council homeworld, news of the attacks caused panic. Emergency sessions were called as reports flooded in of human strikes across the galaxy. Species that had laughed at Earth's humiliation now faced a foe they didn't understand. How did they build such forces without our knowledge? Demanded the Council leader. No one had an answer. Back on the Vengeance, Admiral Kim received reports of successful operations throughout Council space. Send a message to Earth, he told Commander Beck. First phase complete. All primary targets secured. As the message traveled instantly through the quantum network, President Hanul Choi read it in her war room. She looked at Ambassador Jaiwoo Park. Now the real war begins, the president said quietly. Jaiwoo nodded, touching the piece of burned flag she carried. They thought we were weak. They will never make that mistake again. Across the galaxy, the news spread quickly: humans had gone to war. The war had raged for 1 year. What began as a surprising human attack had become a galaxy-wide conflict. Admiral Daehoon Kim stared at the battle map in his command center on Gateway Station. Red dots showed Council forces, blue showed human positions. There were far too many red dots. The Arcturus system has fallen, reported Commander Jisoo Beck. Her face showed the strain of 3 days without sleep. Our forces retreated to Beta Hydri. Daehoon nodded grimly. The initial advantage of surprise had faded. Now humans faced the hard truth: they were outnumbered. The Council had united thousands of worlds against Earth. Casualties? He asked quietly. 7 ships lost. About 2,000 soldiers. Jisoo paused. And the colony on Arcturus 4, 2 million civilians. The room fell silent. Everyone knew what happened to human colonies captured by Council forces, especially those led by the vengeful Draconids. On Earth, the situation grew desperate. Council ships had broken through the outer defenses and now bombed major cities. In what remained of New Seoul, Jeo Han led her civilian defense group through the ruins of their neighborhood. Once a fitness instructor, now she commanded 300 fighters. Move those people to the underground shelters, she ordered, pointing to a group of children huddled behind a fallen building. And check that medical station, they need more supplies. Above, alien ships dropped more bombs. The ground shook. Buildings fell. Geo had seen her city destroyed piece by piece for weeks now. Her old student Do Hyun limped up to her, his right arm in a makeshift sling. At 71, he was her oldest fighter and among her bravest. The north sector is clear, he reported. But we're running low on weapons. Geo nodded. We hold this position 3 more days. Then the military plans to evacuate everyone to the mountain bases. If they survived that long. In orbit above Earth, Captain Sungo Park's small vessel Guardian fought alongside the remnants of Earth's defense fleet. His ship, once just a patrol boat, had been upgraded with hidden weapons. Even so, they were badly outmatched. Incoming, shouted his weapons officer as 3 Council destroyers fired at once. The Guardian shook violently. Systems failed across the ship. Sungo knew they couldn't take another hit like that. Emergency jump to coordinates Bravo 6, he ordered. His ship disappeared just as another volley of enemy fire passed through the space where they had been. The Guardian reappeared behind the moon, hidden briefly from enemy sensors. Damage report, Sungo called out. Life support at 40%. Weapons at 23%. We can't take another fight, sir. Sungo closed his eyes briefly. Across human space, the same story repeated. Despite their advanced technology, humans were losing the war of numbers. Then, everything changed. In a secret underground lab beneath the Himalayan mountains, Dr. Mina Yoon finished her work on humanity's last hope. The quantum drones are ready, she told President Hanul Choi, who had come to witness the final test. Are you certain they work? The president asked, looking at the small, silver devices hovering in a sealed chamber. They've passed every test. The Council has no defense against them because they operate outside normal physics. They can bypass any shield or armor. How many do we have? 5,000 ready now. Another 10,000 in production. The President nodded slowly. Deploy them immediately. Target military vessels only, no civilian populations. Within hours, the first wave of quantum drones entered battle. Above Earth, they slipped through the strongest Council shields as if they weren't there. Alien ships began to explode or drift powerless in space. Captain Sungo's damaged Guardian watched in amazement as the mighty Council flagship simply shut down, all its systems disabled by drones too small to see with the naked eye. "It's working," he whispered. Across the galaxy, the same scene played out. Human forces, which had been retreating for months, suddenly found themselves facing a confused and vulnerable enemy. At Gateway Station, Admiral Kim received the news with cautious hope. "Order all fleets to push forward," he commanded. "The counterattack begins now." But the war's greatest turn came from an unexpected direction. On the Council homeworld, Ambassador Jaiwu Park, who had been working in secret with alien sympathizers, released proof of the Draconid deception evidence showing they had manipulated the Council into humiliating Earth as part of a plan to seize human territories. Several Council species, already suffering heavy losses in the war, demanded an emergency session. Some began to question why they were fighting humans at all. "The tide is turning," Jisoo told Admiral Kim as reports came in of Council forces retreating in several systems. Dae-hoon nodded, but his face remained serious. "Yes, but at what cost? And how will this end?" The answer to that question would reshape the galaxy forever. The ancient hall on Tau Ceti Prime had stood for thousands of years. Its stone walls had witnessed many historic meetings, but none as important as today's. After 3 years of devastating war, representatives from across the galaxy gathered to end the conflict. Ambassador Jaiwu Park walked slowly to the central platform. A scar ran down the left side of her face, the result of an assassination attempt 3 months earlier. The room fell silent as she took her position. Around her sat aliens of all kinds, some who had been enemies, some who had remained neutral, and a few who had secretly helped humans. "We come today not seeking revenge," Jaiwu began, her voice steady. "We come seeking a new beginning." From their seats in the Earth section, Admiral Dae-hoon Kim and President Hanul Choi watched carefully. Both showed signs of the long war. The Admiral's hair had turned completely white. The President walked with a cane after injuries sustained during the bombing of New Seoul. The old Galactic Council failed because it served the interests of a few powerful species, Jaiwu continued. The Draconids manipulated the Council to attack Earth, but they could have targeted any world. The system itself was broken. Many aliens nodded in agreement. The war had cost them dearly. Over 300 worlds had seen major battles. Millions had died on all sides. "Humans do not seek to rule," Jaiwu said. "But we will never again accept a system where any species can be humiliated and attacked without cause." She activated a projection showing a new structure of government, a galactic confederation where all species would have equal representation. Power would be balanced between different regions of space. No single group could dominate. As she explained the details, murmurs spread through the hall. Many had expected humans, now clearly the most militarily powerful species after their display of superior technology, to demand control. Instead, they offered partnership. The Draconid representative, much less confident than before the war, stood to object. "Why should we trust humans now? They hid their true strength from us all." Jaiwu turned to face him directly. "We hid our weapons because we hoped never to use them. We spent centuries trying to be good neighbors while preparing to defend ourselves if needed. The real question is, why should we trust those who burned our flag and attacked our worlds?" The Draconid had no answer. An elder from the Xandrian species, respected for their wisdom, spoke next. "I have studied human history. They fight fiercely when threatened but prefer peace when possible. I believe their proposal is genuine." Discussion continued for hours. Some argued against the new system. Others suggested modifications. Through it all, Jiwo remained calm, answering questions and addressing concerns. In a private chamber off the main hall, Admiral Kim met with military leaders from both sides. "Your quantum drones changed everything," admitted the Council's former fleet commander. "We had no defense. And we have more technologies you haven't seen," Daehun replied simply. "But we prefer they remain unused." The alien commander studied him carefully. "You could have destroyed us completely. Why didn't you?" "Because that was never our goal. We went to war to survive, not to conquer." Meanwhile, on Earth and human colonies, people watched the proceedings on screens. In the ruins of New Seoul, now being rebuilt, Jio-han and her old student Do-hyun sat with other survivors in a temporary shelter. "Do you think it will work?" Do-hyun asked. "Can we really live in peace with them after everything?" Jiu considered the question. "We must try. Otherwise, what was it all for?" Back in the Great Hall, the final vote approached. One by one, representatives indicated their position. Some reluctantly, some enthusiastically, but most agreed to the new confederation. The Draconids and a few others refused, but they were now isolated. As the session ended, a new flag was raised in the center of the hall, a design that incorporated symbols from all member species. In the center, Earth's blue and green emblem stood proudly, no longer burned but shining. President Choi approached Jiwoo as the meeting concluded. "You've done well, Ambassador. Your parents would be proud." Jiwoo touched the small piece of burned flag she still carried. "I kept this to remind me of what happened. Now I think I can finally let it go." She placed the fragment in a small box that would be sealed into the foundation of the new Confederation headquarters. A reminder of how close the galaxy had come to destruction. As delegates left the hall, Admiral Kim joined them. "Is it really over?" he asked quietly. "The war is," Jiwo replied. "But our work is just beginning." Above them, ships from 100 worlds orbited peacefully. After 3 years of darkness, stars seemed to shine more brightly in the night sky. A new order had begun.